Hi guys, you're welcome to my channel. My name is Adora, and if you're joining this channel for the first time, thank you very much for stopping by. Now, I live in the UK, and as such, I bring stories from time to time of issues that happen right here where I live. And there's this particular story that has been trending for a while now. It's the story of a 74-year-old Ghanaian man who has been in the country for 42 years. And just recently, he discovered that he's not British. He's been in the United Kingdom for 42 good years. And just recently, he discovered he is not British citizen. Like, how does that even happen? And within this whole period of time he's lived in the country, he has run business. He has a business, and we call that off license here. Off license shop is like, just like a corner shop, a shop where they sell provisions, household stuff and all of that. And he has been running this business for a very long time. He has been paying his taxes. He has even been given mortgage to finance his house. He has been living normally like every other person in the country who has the rights, the same right like him. But just recently, he discovered that he's not British. Now, the government wants him to go and apply for a proper mode of settlement. And this process of applying for these settlements ensures that it's going to take about 10 years. So every 2.5 years, he's going to renew this application. Like how it works is that if he goes through the 10 years process, once he starts it, then every 2.5 years, he has to renew it. Every 2.5 years, he has to renew it. So which means that in a period of 10 years, he's going to have to renew it 4 times. Now, all these renewals does not come cheap at all. It does not come cheap. You have to be spending money. You have to spend money on your solicitor, for lawyer to be able to pick up your application and help you with it. You also have to pay for immigration fee. You have to pay for the health fee. It's a whole lot of money. Why do I know? Because I have been there before. So this man now at 74, thinking he has spent 42 years in the country. Definitely by now, anybody who has spent that long in this country, you would expect the person is already British. The person already has a British citizenship. What he was expecting was a British passport, not to be told to start the process all over again. And this time around, starting the process is they're not even assuring him of starting the process to become a British citizen immediately. No, they are asking him to go back to square one. They are asking him to start the process all from the beginning as if he is a new immigrants in the country, as if he just came to the country yesterday. Now, at 72 years old, one would expect that by now this man should have retired. One would expect that by now he should have been thinking of how to just relax, enjoy his old age, take care of himself, his children and grandchildren and all of that. Not starting this tedious process. And if you have been in this situation before, a situation whereby you have to regularize your stay in the country, where you have to regularize your residency, where you have to put things straight so that you are legal in the system, it is not a walk in the park in all cases. It can be very draining. It can be mentally draining. It can be emotionally draining and financially draining. It requires a lot of money to do all these applications, to do all these residency applications. It requires a lot of mental torture, because while you are waiting, in some cases, some people even apply, they put all this application, at the end of the day, they are rejected. The application is refused. They now have to start all over again. They now have to start paying money again. They now have to start waiting all over again, because these days, the waiting process is even too long. It's even ridiculous. It's worse than before. I remember back in the days, I think, for most applications, you just have to wait for about 6 months and you get a response, something like that. Now, because of the backlog of applications that have piled up over the years, all the way from COVID, all the way from lockdown, loads of applications have been there. And at some point, after the whole thing died down, they've been trying to sort them out. And then you still have applications that comes in daily. Every day, new people still join. Every day, applications come in. So they have to look at all this before they even like look, depending on when your own application is actually presented, before they now have to like attend to your own. So that makes the waiting process after your application is made longer. You now have to wait. Some people have to wait as long as 11 months, all the way from 6 months to 11 months, 12 months. You're still waiting for a feedback from the immigration. So imagine if you are not in a proper state of health, like your mental health is not intact, and you're having to do all these processes, you're having to wait. Because in some cases, while you're waiting, you can't travel, you can't leave the country. So if it was a situation whereby, oh, you have an emergency, you just need to dash out of the country and back, you can't. Because as at that time, while you're waiting, it is assumed that you don't even have any legal means to stay in the country. You are waiting to be accepted, or rather, you're waiting to be given your legal means. And if by any chance you leave the country, that is a very terrible one, because you cannot return. You don't have the right to return. You don't have the permit to enter the country. Why? Because your case is still pending with the immigration. So it's a bit tricky, in the sense that if this man was a little bit on the younger side, well, one would say, okay, maybe he can still, manage to survive the stress that accompanies this whole residency application thing. But at his age, he is supposed to be resting, not going through this torture, not going through this whole application thing. He is supposed to be relaxing. And I can tell you that if he even puts up the application now, like to start the very first process, he won't be spending, rather he might not be spending anything less than £2,000. He won't spend anything less, because the immigration fee and the health surcharge alone, that's the National Health Service fee alone, is already close to 1,000, or rather it's already close to 1,005. £1,500. It's already around that point. And then, not to talk of involving a lawyer, because some of these cases, some people just feel like, well, I can do it on my own, I don't need a lawyer, because they want to save money. But I always advise, if you want to do anything immigration, it's always good to go with a lawyer. An immigration lawyer who knows his onions, who knows what he's doing, who knows his job. Don't just go for any lawyer. There are different lawyers in the countries for different things. They have the family lawyer, they have the property lawyer, they have the criminal lawyer. Go for the ones that specialize in immigration and asylum cases. It's going to cost money, definitely. But be assured that at least you're going to get something out of it. So now, if this man now has to add the cost of a lawyer fee and add the cost of immigration fee and then the National Health Service fee, then there is a lot coming out from his pocket. And bear it at the back of your mind that he's not going to do this just once, because this is a process that takes about 10 years, which means every 2.5 years he's going to have to do this process. So every 2.5 years he's going to have to spend roughly about £2,500 every 2.5 years, £2,500, and he has to do this 4 times till 10 years before he can now be eligible for an indefinite leave to remain. And then he will now go ahead to apply for his British citizenship. So 10 years plus 74 years old, that's as he'll be about 84 years old then. I don't know. Tell me how he intends to enjoy this citizenship. Whatever. I'm even tired of the matter. Tell me how he intends to enjoy that status when the time comes at 84 years old, when he's supposed to have retired, supposed to have just rested, just puts his feet up, sits by the window and then enjoy himself, enjoy the views, visits grandchildren, his family comes around. He's using all of this time to struggle about immigration matter, something that shouldn't even be happening. Because honestly, if you have lived in the country for 44 good years, 44, that's strange. I don't get it. I don't understand how this happened. I don't really understand where this error came from. I don't understand. Like, the funny part of it is that, and how come he, this thing is just unraveling itself now? Why didn't this whole thing come out like when he was already like 20 something years in the country? Assuming he was made known, or rather when it was known to him that, oh, 27 years ago he didn't have this, maybe as at that time 27 years ago he would have been fighting, or he would have been trying to sort out his, you know, citizenship issue, status in the country. But after 40 something years, it is not an easy issue, honestly. So this is one of the tricks that has to come with immigration processes when you live abroad. One has to be like extremely, I don't know what I should say, extremely careful, or be, I understand very well that even without having a British passport, you are still entitled to having a mortgage. You're still entitled, you pay your taxes, you do everything normally like those that have British passports. So like, even if you have your indefinite leave to remain, or even if you have just a temporary, no, just a normal leave to remain in the country, you are entitled to know most of these things. But a situation whereby he has been in this country for this period of time, I believe there should have been signs to know that, oh, this thing is not available. Like, how has he been traveling? Has he not traveled out of the country? Has he not traveled out in 40 something years? How did he travel? What travel documents did he use? Did he use his Ghanaian passport to travel? Or did he use a British passport? If he did, how did he come about the British passport, since it's in the system he does not have a British citizenship? So it's a bit complicated. It's very much, it's really a complicated issue, honestly, which nobody hopes to be in, because it can be very draining when you see yourself having to start all over again. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I do hope to see you in my next video. Bye.